I know that seems like about half, but it's a pretty significant number because the flu vaccine changes every year. So it's kind of worth the risk. And I promise you throughout this presentation, I'm going to show you that the benefits do far outweigh the risks of the flu vaccine. Did you know that thousands of people every year die from flu-related illnesses, like pneumonia? And an article by NPR has noted that pneumonia and flu combined are ranked in the top 10 consistently U.S. causes of death. So why become a part of that statistic, right? All right, well, my name is Callie Kearney, and I'm a senior at the University of Florida studying health education and behavior. And I've done extensive research on the flu vaccination, and today I'm going to show you or talk to you about the benefits of the flu vaccine. We'll address some myths and concerns about the vaccine. I'll tell you why it's important to get the vaccine, why should you get the vaccine, and then we'll conclude. So first and foremost, I think it's important to note that the flu vaccine changes every year. So some people say, oh, the flu vaccine's the same every year, and it's definitely not. And it's not a process that's taken lightly. Over 100 different national influenza councils gather together from 100 different countries. They meet with the World Health Organization twice a year after gathering data throughout the whole year about the influenza disease to determine which influenza viruses are circulating in a given year. And they'll usually pick 3 or 4 of those once they've kind of compiled all of their research together, and that's how they'll decide what's going to be in the new flu vaccine. So with that being said, sometimes the flu vaccine works really well, and sometimes it doesn't, depending on how well it's matched in a given year. But NPR also notes that vaccine still remains the single most effective way to prevent illness. And so they recommend typically for healthy adults and older children to be vaccinated, but the flu vaccine is even effective in older adults, young children, and those with immunodeficient disorders. It might not protect them the 60 or 50% that it does healthy adults, but some protection is better than no protection at all. So let's talk about some of the benefits. The CDC notes a long list of benefits for the vaccine, but for time's sake, I'm just going to talk you through some of the main ones that I felt were important. So first and foremost, reduces the risk of getting the flu vaccine. That's the most important one. It also reduces the risk of flu-related hospitalizations, so from complications like pneumonia, which can be really serious. It also, if you end up with the flu, can make the flu illness a little bit less severe because you probably have already developed some antibodies for the virus. Can protect pregnant women during and after pregnancy. This one's really cool because the mom can pass the antibodies on to the baby during the pregnancy. So after the baby's born, the baby may also be protected from the flu. And what I found to be most interesting, the Journal of the American Medical Association noted that the flu vaccine can lower risk for major cardiac events like heart attack and stroke and heart disease and heart failure. This is because the flu, when you get it, it being a respiratory disease, causes a lot of inflammation and blockage, which can lead to a heart complications, heart attack, all of that sort of stuff. So getting the vaccine preventing the flu also reduces the risk of having those major cardiac events. I think it said it reduces it by 1/3, which is a pretty significant statistic. Okay, so now that we talked about some of the benefits, let's go through some of the myths. Off the top of your head, what's one of the main myths that everybody always says about the flu?
That makes you sick.
Right, exactly. Everybody always says, and I hear this so often, the flu gives you the flu, so why would I get the flu shot? That's not exactly the case. The CDC notes that the virus inside of the flu vaccine is inactivated or very, very mild. So it's very diluted, a very mild strain. It's not going to give you the flu. You might be like, well, I got a stuffy nose and I got a fever and I felt like crap for 2 days. Yes, that's your body developing the antibodies to fight the virus. So it's not you getting the flu, your body's building that immunity. Other people might say, well, I got the flu vaccine and then I still ended up with the flu. And there's several different ways that can happen as well. Some people get exposed to the flu before they get the vaccine. So it lays dormant in their body and they don't see the symptoms. They get the vaccine and then they get the flu and they're like, what happened? It also takes up to 2 weeks after you get the vaccine for your body to develop the antibodies. So if you're exposed to the virus in that period of time, you may also end up with the flu. Let's go through a couple more. Pregnant women shouldn't get the flu vaccine. That's actually not true. NPR notes that the flu virus, if pregnant women get it, can cause miscarriages. So getting the flu vaccine if you're pregnant can also reduce the rate of miscarriage. You don't need the flu vaccine this year if you got it last year. As I mentioned earlier, the strains of the flu that are circulating every year change. So if you got it last year, you might not be protected against the strains that are circulating this year. Also, immunity fades. So you won't be immune to something forever. It's going to fade over time. The flu shot is a one-size-fits-all approach that doesn't make sense for everyone. Exactly. So there's several different ones that are available. They have a nasal spray for those like myself that don't like needles. They offer a high dose for those who are 65 and older, so older adults are typically more prone to getting illnesses. That one's for them. And they also have an egg-free one for those who may be allergic to eggs. So that's pretty cool. Always important though to consult your physician before choosing which vaccine. And this one's my favorite. I never get the flu, so I don't need the shot. Well, if you could predict the future, that would be great, but unfortunately there's no way for you to know whether you're gonna get the flu. Better to be safe than sorry, right? All right. So, I think it's important to know also that getting the flu vaccine is super important for you to protect yourself against the flu, but it's also important to the loved ones around you and to your community. Has anybody in the room heard of community immunity or herd immunity? No? Okay. Well, vaccines.org notes that herd immunity is accomplished when a large portion of the community is immune against a disease. So it kind of contains the spread of the disease. This helps people also that aren't eligible to receive a certain vaccine. So for the flu vaccine, it's not recommended for babies under the age of 6 months. It's going to protect those babies from the flu. And also people with immunodeficient disorders, they can't get the flu virus because their immune systems are already compromised. So that's really important to them. So this diagram kind of shows you the yellow people here are healthy and vaccinated, the blue are healthy and non-vaccinated, and the red are non-vaccinated, sick, and contagious. So if only some people are being vaccinated, you can see how many people are healthy and how many people become sick and contagious. When we switch to most being vaccinated, we have a larger portion of the population that's being protected from the disease and it's being contained. So I really would be confident that we could eliminate the flu like we've eliminated several other diseases, but herd immunity has to be accomplished for that to happen. So an article I found in PubMed noted that 80% of healthy people would have to be vaccinated against the flu and 90% of high-risk individuals, so older adults, younger children, those with immunodeficient diseases, in order to establish herd immunity. And in my research, I realized that we are very far from that number. So this map shows us the vaccination rates all across the country, and it's color-coded. In Florida, my home state of Florida, a very disappointing 17.24% of the population gets vaccinated, and here in North Carolina, not much better, 19.21%. So this entire map is colored red, right? According to the key here, that's everybody under less than 20%. That's not good. So we want to really encourage that people get the flu vaccine. We can stop the spread of the flu, that's within our control, and we just have to take initiative and get the vaccine. So let's just conclude everything really fast with a wrap up, just to start here. We remember that the flu vaccine helps protect us from the flu up to 50 to 60%. It's recommended for those aged 6 months and older. The Mayo Clinic says that if you have an allergy to eggs, they recommend consulting with your physician. Also, if you've ever had a severe reaction to the flu virus or vaccine before, then you want to consult with your physician before you get it again. But outside of that, it's safe for everybody. So the CDC recommends that. And let's see. Oh, what else did we talk about? Myths and concerns. We've noted several benefits. So obviously the main one being that it prevents myths and concerns. We noted just a few, but if you go to the CDC's website, they talk about all of the different concerns that people may have surrounding the vaccine, and all of them can be debunked with factual information. So I encourage you to do your research before you believe the word on the street about the vaccine and make your decision. And I feel confident, and I hope that you all do as well, that I've provided you with the information to make an informed decision about whether or not to get the vaccine, and that you believe that the benefits truly do outweigh the risks. So don't be the reason why loved ones around you get the flu this year. Don't subject yourself to getting the flu virus unnecessarily. It can be prevented, or can mostly be prevented. The flu vaccine is available at places all around you. If you go to this website here, vaccine.healthmap.org, you can search by zip code and find the nearest place around you. So don't wait, spread the word, and I encourage everybody in the room to get vaccinated. Does anybody have any questions?
How much does the flu vaccine cost?
It depends on your insurance, but insurance is really sticky in the sense that it covers differently for everybody. When I did my research, some people can get the flu shot for free, which is awesome. Otherwise, it ranges from free to up to $40 for the most part, depending on which option you choose. Like I mentioned, the nasal spray and all the different other options. Some of those can be more expensive than others. So you kind of have a wide variety of prices, but it doesn't really exceed $40. So pretty affordable for everybody. Any other questions?
You mentioned something about egg allergies. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So I thought that was weird too when I first looked it up. The virus is incubated inside of an egg when they create the inactivated virus for the vaccine. So people with really, really severe egg allergies that may be hypersensitive to the egg shouldn't get the vaccine. They have egg-free versions for those individuals, but it's weirdly incubated in an egg when it's created. So that is why. Anybody else have any questions? That's it.